Hello everyone. So today I'm going to start a new topic. The topic is class 10th life processes. And the life process actually it is a very long chapter, so we'll have to do it in several parts. So in this topic, this part or this particular video will be limiting till the modes of nutrition. Okay. So the very first thing is that is what is life process? The name of the chapter is life process. Now what is meant by the term life process? ये होता क्या है life process? Okay, so in simple words we can define that life process is a process by which an organism is remain alive. All those processes which makes or which keeps an organism alive, which brings life to an individual, which brings life to a body. You all might have used your mobiles or computer or something, so it have an operating system. What is the function of operating system is that it brings or it puts life in the computer, and if the operating system is working, then the computer will work in a proper manner. Otherwise your computer or your mobile will be just a piece, just a hardware which will not be able to work. So it is that software which brings life, which makes a various type of function enabled in it. The same way, in our body there are four processes which are known as life process. Keeping this aside, what are life processes on which the entire chapter is, let us first also discuss what are the properties of living beings. What makes a living being different from the non-living things? There are so many long non-living things around us. I can have a laptop here, a mobile here, there are lights here, the computer is here, and TV is there, and there are so many things here around me. All these are non-living things. How will you differentiate between non-living and living? Like that anybody can say this is living and this is non-living. No. But what is that thing which makes us say that these are living and these are non-living? So the basically there are four life processes which makes the living beings, that is the nutrition, respiration, transport and excretion, and that we'll study in this entire chapter. Beside this, the living beings also have certain properties. There are certain properties which are shown only by the living beings. Okay, there are some properties which are shown only by living beings. And what are those properties? We shall study about them. But what are these processes? Living being shows growth. It is only the living being which shows growth. You all are born someday or other in your childhood. You were not same as you are looking today. Okay, let me rub it and rewrite it. Growth. We all were born, and probably our height was this much when we were born. And today we are attained, some are 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, or 6.5 feet, 7 feet, not 7 feet, 6.5 feet. Okay. So how we grow up to, how we attain this much of growth? This is by adding of new cells, new tissues, and all. We all know all that. And only the plants which are showing life over throughout their life, they will continue to grow, whereas the animals have limited growth. But all living beings shows growth. Even a unicellular amoeba, this is an amoeba. So when amoeba grow in size, then it divides into two. Okay, and one amoeba and the second amoeba. So now these two amoeba are small. These two amoeba are small. They will have to grow and attain the normal size. So growth is unique property of all the living beings. Not non-living beings can show growth. Non-living growth नहीं दिखाते. Living beings only can show growth. Okay. However, we can make something which can show growth, or like the field is growing or the desert is growing and all. But these are artificial growth. These are not the natural growth. Okay. The second important property which we see in the living beings is the development. All the living being shows development. Development means adding of something. What is adding? That is new tissues, new organs, new systems, etc. Like when a child is attaining adulthood, so if it is a man, he will develop mustaches, beard, Adam's apple, and all. If it's female, she will develop breast, and she will have some other type of change. So the change is the addition of something. These are again a property of living beings. Okay, as the frog grows from the tadpole to the frog, there are several changes taking place in the body. The tail is reducing, the size is increasing, external gills are going away, lungs will become functional and all. So development is again the unique property of living beings. Non-living things do not show growth. जैसे वो थे वैसे ही रहेंगे, as they were. We bought them, and the same way it will be. This pen is whatever size it was having in the time at the time of I brought, the same size it will remain. No size increase, nothing is added into it. We can add artificially, that is something different. Then the third thing is response to the changes. All living beings can show certain type of response to certain type of changes. Not all response, all the changes they will be able to. Now plant cannot hear, plant cannot respond to the what you call immediate response. They cannot show about the to the water or to the bright sunlight, but of course they show response to the direction of light, or they show response toward the direction of water and all. Okay, though their response is slow, so it may take some time, but the response they shows. So all the living beings shows response. Now we may have to see now what type of response they show and how fast or slow they show response. Okay. Third thing, and it is the response to stimuli which makes us immediately know that whether a certain thing is alive or dead. अगर आपको मालूम करना है that dog is alive or dead, or what you do, you shout on it, you throw something on it, or you just call it by showing some food, so it will show response. So it is showing response to the sound, it is showing response to the pressure, it is showing response to light, it may show response to water, etc., etc. But same way plants are not showing response. The response to stimuli is a unique property of living beings. Reproduction is again a living important property of living beings. Not non-living things can reproduce. This mouse will remain mouse only. This will it will be one only. It cannot produce another one. The pen cannot produce another one. The mobile cannot produce another one. The laptop cannot produce another one. They are one and they will remain one. So this is again a unique property of living beings. Only the living beings can show reproduction, and reproduction is important because every living beings have a definite life cycle. Now what is meant by the life cycle we will study. So again it is an important property. Non-living things do not have life cycle. Okay? Non-living do not have life. So all the living beings are born someday, then they grow, then they become mature, they become old, and one fine day they die. Now death can occur anytime. They may born, they may die during the course of birth, or during the course of growth, or during the course of mature, or after turning old. If they die, then we say it is a natural death. Beside, after turning old, somebody dies, then we say it is a normal death, a natural death. Otherwise, all are unnatural death. Okay? And to compensate this death, when they become mature, they reproduce. Oh, so I could be able to write reproduce. So all the living beings, they have an ability to show reproduction after attaining maturity. It is not necessary that all the living beings will reproduce. So that is why we do not call it as a life process. Life process क्या है? Which makes something alive, which makes an organism alive. So it is not making alive. It is not making somebody alive. So these properties, they can come and they can go. Okay? But life process are continually going on process. So reproduction is again a very unique property, and then reproduction is also adding to the another property of living being, that is definite life cycle. Only the living beings are definite life cycle. Non-living will not have this type of life cycle. Non-living do not give birth, they do not grow, they may turn old. हम कहते हैं भाई ये कार पुरानी है, but that is not, and they do not show natural death. Okay, another property which are shown by the living being is definite organization. You take a particular species, individual of one particular species from any part of the world, they will have similar type of properties. If I'm taking human being and from anywhere, they will have 32 teeth in their mouth. They will have esophagus, then stomach, then duodenum, then small intestine, then large intestine. They will have 10 digits, 10 fingers in their hands. Okay, 5 in each hand, one palm. This two bones here, one bone here. Okay, so this is a unique property. Non-living do not have these type of property. You will not find two rivers exactly same or two mountain exactly same or even the composition of two stone exactly same. Okay, so this makes a very important property of all the living beings. That is, they show definite organization. Whatever things are there, they are consisting of same type of things. Another important property of living being is metabolism. What is metabolism? Our body is actually a laboratory where thousands of types of chemical reactions are continuously going on. And these chemical reactions are well performed in a very synchronized manner, in a very particular manner, and they are taking place as and when they are required. Okay, so they are very controlled type of chemical reactions. It's not like whether they required or not required they will take place. No, the chemical reactions are, and it is only because of these chemical reaction we are alive. So respiration is a chemical reaction, photosynthesis is chemical reaction, formation of protein chemical reaction. So reproduction is again a chemical reaction. For the thousands of chemical reaction makes reproduction possible, or cell division, or formation of new DNA or RNA or chromosome multiplication. Whatever type of properties are shown by the living beings, all are because of the metabolism. So if I am able to speak and you are able to hear, it is all because of the metabolism. Because some chemical reaction are making me able to speak and some chemical reaction are making you able to hear. Okay, so this is again a very important property. Now I am telling one very unique property of life. Very unique property of life. I'll change the color just to show this importance. Okay, so what is the important property? That is called homeostasis. Homeostasis. Homeo word means stable or same. Stable or same. I'll write same. And stasis matlab state. All the living beings have an ability to maintain same state. What is the meaning of maintaining same state? That our body, right from the time of our birth till our death, will have constant amount of water, same amount of water, same amount of glucose in each that is in the blood. Okay, our iris allow only a certain amount of light to fall into it. If you put bright light, then what will happen? The pupil will constrict. When bright light comes, the pupil constricts, so it allows less light to go. And if there is a dull light or it suddenly turn dark, the power goes, then this will become enlarged and this will make you see even in the dark. So this is again a very important property of living beings. Okay. So I said so many properties of living beings, but they were all properties. But all these properties are made possible because of the four life processes. If life processes are not there, none of these properties will be shown by the living beings. These properties, which we are saying, which makes us alive. What is meant by staying alive? Staying alive, that is, if we are able to show these properties. Okay, so staying alive means these all properties are going on in our body. The growth, development, as movement and locomotion. I stopped. I did not explain. Movement and development is movement and locomotion is again a unique property of living beings. Non-living does not show movement of their own. They will not show locomotion of their own. From external force they can move, but internally they will not have that ability. But all the living beings, so all these properties of the life or living beings are made possible because of the 4 life processes. What are the 4 life processes? 4 life processes are, they are first, sorry, आगे बढ़ गए. Okay, so 4 life processes are first nutrition, then respiration. Oh, actually this was to. So 4 life processes are nutrition, then second is respiration, then third is transport, and the fourth one is excretion. That means these 4 processes are all the time going on in our body. Nutrition is intake and utilization of nutrient. Now you will say, sir, hum to hamesha nahi khate. So eating in food is something different. Nutrition is something different. You can take food anytime, once in a day, twice in a day, 5 times a day, 8 times a day. But the food goes in our body, it is digested, then it remains in the, it is distributed to each and every cells. Excess goes and stored in the certain parts like liver or in the intestine or somewhere else, or under the skin or wherever it is. Then from time to time it is being distributed to each and every part. So nutrition is continuous. Now, to understand all these 4 life processes, we should consider that the processes are actually going on in the cells, not in the body. Body is the outcome of, or the final result of the cells. But all these 4 processes are continuously going on in the cells. So all the 4 cells are continuously showing nutrition. All the 4 cells are all the body cells are continuously showing nutrition. All the body cells are continuously showing respiration. All the body cells are continuously showing transport and excretion. Why nutrition? Because it is the nutrition which keep adding new things. Okay? Nutrition adds new things. See, nutrition, all basic necessary substances for survival we get by the process of nutrition. It is the nutrition which will avail you the energy nutrients, protein, fat, carbohydrate, whatever type of things you require to make new DNA, new RNA, new cells, or to maintain the body concentration, the water and all. So all that thing will get from nutrition. Okay, even the plant require nutrients, but they may be requiring basic molecules like sodium, potassium, calcium, sodium, magnesium, etc., etc. This which is studied in class 9th, macronutrients and micronutrients. So nutrition is the source of all basic necessities which we require in our body. We require several things continuously. Okay, and these things we get from the food. Food is being digested, then it is absorbed, then it is distributed to each and every cell. Some of it, the excess will go and stored in the certain part of the body. From there it is continually distributed. Every cell is continuously asking nutrients, continuously, non-stop. Because how much a cell is microscopic structure, so it cannot store things. So it will continually asking things, and when nutrition take place, see, it provides nutrients required for building new cells, substances like protein, lipids, DNA, RNA, enzyme, hormone, blood. These are some of the substances which are written. It also provides energy molecules like carbohydrates, fats, etc. So carbohydrates and fats on combustion provides energy. Okay, by oxidation they release energy. Now oxidation is actually a process of respiration. So nutrition and respiration goes hand in hand. Without nutrition, respiration cannot take place, and without respiration, nutrition cannot take place, because the respiration is the source of energy. So without energy, how will you able to eat food? Hence, each and every cell is continually in the need of some kind of nutrients all the time. Even for a second, half second, nutrients will be continuously required. Okay, the next thing is respiration. So we know that energy is the capacity to do work, and what is the source of energy in our body? It is respiration. So respiration, in order to survive, we require energy, and this energy comes by the oxidation of food, nutrients, carbohydrate, fats, even proteins. They are oxidized and they are providing energy, and it is this energy which is making us alive, which is used for the various type of metabolic activities, which is used for our ability to walk, move, reproduce, response to stimuli, and whatever type of things are there. Without energy, अगर आपका कोई भी device है, whatever device, then the energy is, you switch it off, the fan will also stop working, AC will stop working, the light will stop working, your petrol got over, your car will stop working. So all these things, devices are working on energy. And what is the source of energy for us in the living beings? It is respiration. So respiration is actually oxidation of food, and by the oxidation of food we get energy. Chapter 1, uh, chemical reactions and equation, there you might have studied that it is oxidative reactions which are providing energy. Okay, combustion which provides energy. So it is combustion. Oxidation is source of combustion. Okay, so each cell produces its own energy. Now important to know that every cell require energy. Every cell will produce its own energy. It is unlike that we require electricity and the electricity is produced in thermal power plant and it is coming to us. We require what you call kitchen gas, LPG. LPG is produced elsewhere and it is coming to our house and then we are using it. It is not like that. Every cell will produce its own energy. Okay. Third is transport. Now these two processes, nutrition, respiration. Nutrition, we ate food from mouth and how it reached to each and every part of the body. Each and every part, where it has to utilize, where it has to be oxidized, where it is to be used for building new cells, where it is used to make new proteins, where it is used to make new DNA, new RNA, for new chromosome. All these things require to be transported from one part to other. Now there are plants which are 100, 200, 300 meter tall. They require very long distance transport. Whereas a microscopic amoeba, it also required to transport gases. Okay, it also required transport gases. Say for example, I'll tell you. This is an amoeba, and here is the mitochondria in amoeba. Amoeba is a eukaryotic organism, so it have mitochondria. It have a nucleus. Okay, so oxygen need to transport it from the cell membrane up to mitochondria, and carbon dioxide which is produced in the mitochondria will need to be transported out. The food which comes here will be oxidized in the digested in the food vacuole, and the food vacuole will finally end up into the large onto the surface, and it will throw the waste out. So even in a unicellular organism, micrometer distance need to be transported. Okay, and in our body is altogether 6 feet or 5 feet or 4 feet, whatever, but the blood is not going in the straight line. It is going घूमता फिरता है ना. So the distance all the more increases. So the transport in our body which require, it takes very a long path. So transport is required. No living beings can survive without transport, because the oxygen, the food, and the waste, whatever produced, they had to be transported from one part to other part. Now, consider cell, which is a microscopic structure. How small you might have studied in class 9. The cells are in micrometers. Micrometer cell cannot store waste. Micrometer size cells cannot store food in it. So they are taking the food, they are throwing the waste out on the spot. Okay, and this waste from one cell to second cell, third cell, fourth cell, millions of cells, trillions of cells, all these are continuously giving out, and that is going to the excretory organ. From there it is going to exterior. Now don't consider the excretion is that final elimination. That is something different. So let us study what is written here. Okay, respiration, and this is transport. So in a multicellular body, there are several cells where things need to be transported. As I said, we are eating food from the mouth, going to the stomach for digestion, small intestine, final digestion, absorption from this small intestine. Then it has to go to each and every part, and from there waste has to come to the kidneys, and carbon dioxide to the lungs, oxygen from the lungs to each and every cell. So transport are required. Hormone need to be transported, heat need to be transported, antibodies need to be transported. There are several things which we required to transport. Each and every cell require oxygen, food, water, minerals, hormones, etc., etc. So all these things need to be transported, and these substances are transported in the body by blood in the higher animals and water by tracheal system and what you call xylem and phloem in plants, and in unicellular organ or smaller organ where the complexity is not there, it is simply done by a process called diffusion. So transport is another important property. The next important property, even in a multicellular unicellular organ, the substances like oxygen and food are transported from cell membrane to the mitochondria, and from mitochondria to the exterior. तो ये continuous going on process है, रुकने वाला नहीं है, not even for a while, not even for a fraction of second. Okay, then substances move in a cytoplasm by cytoplasmic streaming. Cytoplasm के अंदर भी चीजें घूम रही, वो कैसे जा रही? By cytoplasmic streaming. ठीक है? Then last is excretion. So whenever some metabolism take place, some waste will definitely produce. So when the respiration is taking place, waste is produced. When photosynthesis take place, waste is produced. When DNA is made, waste is produced. For any other thing is made, waste is produced. And these waste, cell do not have space to store. So what it will do? It will throw it out. So I said these four life processes, they are taking place at the cellular level, at the cells level. Okay, you don't consider कि मैं तो हर बार excrete नहीं कर रहा हूँ. You may not be excreting because it is going and storing in the excretory organ, and from there time to time it is given out. But from the cellular level, from the cell, it is continuously given out. So the cells shows continuous excretion. So whenever metabolic activities take place in the body, some waste material are always produced, and it is necessary to remove these waste from the body as they may be toxic. Even if they are not toxic, we cannot keep because they have no place. So cells are also microscopic, which lacks space to store these wastes. So even if they are useful, like plants produce carbon dioxide during respiration, and the same carbon dioxide they will use in photosynthesis. So it is not that the carbon, acha rakh lo yaar subah kaam aayega. No, they can't because they don't have a place. So whenever we are carrying out for respiration, we are producing water. But the excess of water we are giving out. When we inhale, if you are to clean your specs, what we do? So what is this? This is water vapor there, which condenses and which is used for cleaning the glasses. So water vapor has to be given out. It's not that we don't require water. After every few hours we drink water. Yet excess of water is continuously given out because the cell do not have space to store these things. So it is not that कि अरे यार काम आएगा रख लेते हैं. No. चलिए. The first thing we'll study about nutrition. Okay, so what is nutrition? Nutrition is intake and utilization of nutrients. So intake and utilization of nutrients in the body is called nutrition. Okay, and nutrients are the components of food. Now, intake and utilization of nutrients. Now, what are nutrients? Nutrients are the components of food. Food के वो part है which are classified on the basis of chemical nature and on the basis of their functions. Okay, there are basically 6 types of nutrients for the animals like us, human beings. So what are there? They are protein, carbohydrate, fat, vitamin, minerals, and water. Now there are some scientists who do not consider water as a nutrient. Oh, बोले साहब water से तो कुछ मिल तो रहा ही नहीं है. We are not getting anything from water. For plant it can be nutrient because it is giving oxygen or hydrogen. But for us it is not a nutrient. But ठीक है, we are getting it from outside, so we will call it nutrient. आपकी मर्जी, आप कहें ना कहें. Modes of nutrition. So modes of nutrition means where are we getting our nutrients from. So there are some organisms which have an ability to produce food on their own. They are called autotrophs. There are other organisms which cannot produce food on their own, so they depend on other organisms for their food requirement. So autotrophs which can prepare food on their own. Heterotrophs which do not have ability to produce food on their own. Autotrophs again are of 2 types, photoautotrophs and second is chemoautotrophs. Photoautotrophs are those which uses light energy of sunlight or energy of any other light, even candle light, and they will prepare food using this energy. So the source of energy is light. Then they are called photoautotrophs. And if they are deriving their energy by oxidation of inorganic substances like iron, like sulfur, like nitrogen, so when they oxidize these and the energy is released, and this energy will be used for preparing their food, then they are called chemoautotrophs. Chemoautotrophs are generally microorganisms. Okay, heterotrophs, so they have different types of nutrients. Okay, now what are type? Holozoic nutrition. Holozoic, where the food is taken as a whole in the body, and inside the body they are digested. The food is undigested food is taken in, and inside the body they are digested. Now it is not necessary that you will always take undigested nutrients, because water need not to be digested, minerals need not to be digested, vitamins need not to be digested. You can even take glucose which need not be digested. But as a whole we are taking food, we are eating fruit, we are eating vegetables, we are eating egg, we are eating drinking milk. So these are need to be digested inside the body. So when the digestion taking inside the body, they are called holozoic. And holozoic are further classified on the basis of type of food, the source of food, like herbivore which eat plants, and carnivore which eat animal, and omnivore which eat plant as well as animal. Saprozoic organisms are those which digest their food outside their body, because they do not have facility to digest their food inside the body. So they digest their food outside the body. For that, what they do, they secrete enzymes onto the food. Food is being digested, and then digested nutrients are absorbed. So this process causes rotting, because the chemical processes, the digestion process is taking place in the environment. So it is creating some bad smell, foul odor. That is why it is called rotting. And the other word for rotten is sapro. Okay, so saprobic, saprozoic, saprophytes, whatever you say. These are, when zoic is said, it is animals. Phytes are said, it is plants, and saprobic, it is for all. Okay, parasites are those organisms which are not digesting their food, rather they are taking the banana nutrient, the ready-made nutrient from the host. And now they may further be divided on the basis of their the location on the body. ठीक है, तो चलिए मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन को डिफाइन करते हैं. और mode of nutrition are all those ways by which we get our nutrients. Mode of nutrition is of two types. These are autotrophic and heterotrophic. I already defined them. Autotrophs क्या हैं? These are those organisms which prepare food on their own. They are not depending on other. खुद से बना लेंगे. They will take the water from soil and carbon dioxide from air and light from sun or any other source, and they will use these things in their chlorophyll, and they will make their food. Okay, there are two types based on to the source of energy they use. These are photoautotrophs, that is those which are using light energy, and chemoautotrophs, which are using energy derived by the oxidation of inorganic substances. Okay, phototrophs, these are those green plants which makes their or which carry out photosynthesis to prepare their food. Green plants, we'll study in detail what is photosynthesis. Chemoautotrophs, these are those microbes which prepare food by using energy produced by oxidation of inorganic substances. Sulfur bacteria, they use sulfur into sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide, nitrogen into nitrogen oxide, NO2, and then these energy they use it. Okay. Differences between photosynthetic and chemosynthetic organisms we'll study here. So there are several differences. Source of energy, photosynthesis, it is light. Chemosynthetic, it is the oxidation of inorganic substance. Pigment, photosynthetic organisms use chlorophyll, they do not use any pigment. Size of organism, photosynthetic are generally plant, visible, clearly visible, large plants, whereas the chemosynthetic, they are generally microscopic, invisible to us. Release of oxygen, they release oxygen, photosynthetic organisms. They do not release, because they are using sulfur, nitrogen, oxygen, so they are rather using oxygen. एग्जाम्पल ये ग्रीन प्लांट है और इनके एग्जाम्पल मैंने बता दी. ठीक है. Heterotroph organisms, these are those organisms which cannot prepare food on their own, so they depend on other organisms. ठीक है. Okay, so heterotrophic organisms we are talking about, so based on whether the food is digested, that is what kind of food they take, whether they take solid or liquid, or they take the ready-made food, or whether the food is digested inside the body, outside the body, or they take pre-digested food. So the organs are classified into three categories. First is holozoic organisms. These are those organisms which eat food as a whole and digest them inside their body. So these are the organs which are digesting food inside the body. So they have got a digestive system or certain organs where the food is being digested. Okay. On the basis of food that they eat, they are classified into following three types. If they are getting their plants only food, holozoic organisms, they are further classified into three types. First is herbivore. If they are getting their food from plant products, then they are getting herbivores. Second, those which get their food from animals, they are called carnivores. Carnivore itself is further of two types. First is predator, those which kill their prey and eat. They are not eating the dead animals, but they are killing their own prey and then eating. Examples: lion, tigers, etc. On the other hand, scavengers are those which eat those organs which are already dead. They may be dead because of some sickness or maybe old age, or they are killed by some other organisms. So they are called scavengers. Scavengers examples: wolf, vulture, jackal, etc. Okay. Omnivore are those organisms which eat plant as well as animals. They can get their food either from plant or plant product, or they can get their food from animal or animal product. Example: human, dog, crow, etc. Okay. Saprobes are those organs which not digest their food inside their body, rather they digest their food outside the body. They are microorganisms or they are small organs. They do not have organ to digest their food. So what they do, they secrete digestive enzymes. Say for example, this is a someone's hand cut detached from the body. So now when this cut hand is lying somewhere, the microbes like fungi or bacteria will come on it. They will secrete their enzymes, they will digest it, and the dissolved nutrients will be absorbed by them by a process called diffusion. So it is a simple process. Since the digestion is taking place outside in the environment, it causes rotting. Examples: mushroom and fungi. Third is parasites. Parasites are those organisms which are depending on host for their food. Okay, so they are getting their food from the host. Okay, now depending on their location on the body, whether they are on the body or inside their body, they are further classified into ectoparasites and then endoparasites. Ectoparasites are those parasites which are living on the body. For example, ticks, mites, leech, lice, ringworm, etc. And endoparasites are those which are living inside the body, uh, or all these parasitic diseases which are caused in us, like malaria or typhoid or tetanus, etc. They are caused by these parasites. Okay, so the parasites which are living inside the body are ascaris, tapeworm, malaria parasites, etc. And the parasite which are living on the body is ticks, bites, and all. So these are the various type of organisms on the basis of their mode of nutrition and the type of nutrition. So that's all. That's bringing to the end of this particular video, part 1, and part 2 I'll give shortly, like just after this. So the video is little long. It is somewhere about 35 to 40 minutes, but no matter. You can see it, pause it, note down the notes, and otherwise you're just listening, then you can listen. These all things we already studied in the smaller classes, so it should not take much of your time. That's all in this video. Thank you. And if you are new, please like and subscribe my channel. If you are old, then you can simply like and share with others. Thank you.